Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Ectohead channel. If waiting for disclosure was tough, then the fight for disclosure will be a tougher prospect altogether. Thankfully, it won't take as long as the original cover-up, but it will be quite uncomfortable. As we see the various UFO communities gear up for tranche after tranche of documents to forensically dive into, the organs of state intelligence are doing what they do best. We have already seen Representative Anna Paulina Luna appear on News Nation to give vent to her frustrations that the CIA apparently, in the dead of night, entered the buildings of the ODNI and removed documents relating to the JFK assassinations and MK-Ultra programs and papers relating directly to this current effort of disclosure by the President of the United States. The files have not yet been returned. Shall we?
Yeah, so we were actually just notified that the CIA went in and took documents out of ODNI, multiple boxes pertaining to the JFK files as well as MK-Ultra. The reason why this is troubling is A, there was an executive order that the president had directed the full declassification of JFK, but then also to the MK-Ultra files, the CIA famously has said that, all documents were released and other documents had been destroyed. So these are allegedly those documents that apparently never existed. And so very troubling. I did just talk to Chairman Comer, and we are sending in the next hour or so a preservation of documents request to the CIA. I have calls into the White House to the director of the CIA himself. And so obviously, as this develops, we'll keep everyone up to date. But strange times we're living in, that's for sure.
Does the CIA have jurisdiction to go into Gabbard's office like that and take documentation?
Well, the CIA does not have jurisdiction to work against an executive order by the president. And so the fact that someone did this when the president is out of country, from what I gather, I believe that Director Radcliffe is with him. And so this seems like it was an internal coup, to be honest.
As Luna states, Director Radcliffe is out of the country with Trump. Luna describes this act of non-compliance with presidential requests as an internal coup, which is quite startling, and puts pressure on Radcliffe, assuming he didn't know, to when he comes home, put his house in order. And so the tug of war begins. The legacy intelligence services, even in this partial state of undress, with disclosure already underway, are removing documents and material pertaining to the truth on programs associated with the UFO problem, and by extension, our public access to them.
At the beginning of this conversation with the CIA and this testimony from the whistleblower today, it seems there's a major problem going on inside the agency with politicizing intelligence and making these decisions for political purposes rather than just following the intelligence and the facts where they may lead.
Oh, most certainly. Exactly what you just laid out is also known as the deep state, and there's a flush that needs to occur at the agency. I like Director Radcliffe. He's a great man. He's been doing a great job, but he is one man, and there needs to be massive instrumental changes and shakeups at the agency. I think the deputy director of the CIA needs to be backing Radcliffe up on those changes. But what I will tell you today, and just hearing what I heard about the overt efforts to undermine the president's executive order specifically pertaining to JFK, or Congress's order to release and request the MLK or the MK-Ultra files, all of that should tell you everything you need to know about the agency, and that it still operates, so it seems, out of the purview and jurisdiction of the executive branch, of the congressional branch, and that is unacceptable, of the legislative branch, and it's unacceptable. And so, as you saw, Comer is working on that subpoena with me. We will send it in the morning if we don't hear back from the CIA. But either which way, we will find out who went into Tulsi's office and took those files. If this person, and this is not a threat, this is going to happen, if those files are not returned within the next 24 hours, you will be called, your faces will be made public in front of the entire American people. All of Congress will see it, and we will hold you accountable for going against a direct executive order by the president and interfering with a congressional investigation. So return the files, do not destroy documents. You will get a preservation of documents notice for Congress, and any member of the CIA that engages in undermining this investigation will be held criminally accountable. And I'm also waiting for a call back from Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general. We are not playing games with you. Return the documents.
Rep Luna is not to be messed with, it seems, and rightly so. Those congresspersons who are at the vanguard of disclosure, and clearly in light of the glut of tragically suspicious deaths that follow this phenomena, are putting their necks on the line in service of the truth. Speaking of truths, there are plenty to be had if only they weren't being purloined by shady individuals at the last minute. Time and time again we see instances of "look here," only to find that when the rest of us look, there is nothing there. And it's obvious that for decades now, the UFO investigative communities have been unintentionally doing the intelligence agencies' preparatory work for them. For years now, we have been signalling our intentions to these agencies, who think nothing of removing material as soon as it's discovered, thereby denying further inquiry. To remove them, to prevent further scrutiny, relegates the information to a category that could best be described as dubious. One grain of doubt is all that's required for the misinformation and debunking machine to start spinning its wheels, and with the cooperation of a mostly complicit mainstream media, the tiny flame of truth is soon extinguished, at least in the eyes of much of the population. Most of the UFO cover-up has worked well enough, though, to bring us right here, right now. The secretive agencies tasked with stopping the UFO information coming out have done so with a mix of good listening and better tactics. They are officialdom, the official domain from which all things come, and as such, they have us at a disadvantage. But in this modern information age where everybody has a camera at their disposal, one would think we have never been in such a strong position as earnest advocates of the UFO truth. But in truth, we've never been more disadvantaged. They have all the tools they need at their disposal to continually monitor, intercept, and wipe information from the internet, and even in some cases from individual devices. They have manpower, logistical agency, and it appears the keys to open any door they wish to open. This talk of a government within the government, which is so familiar to those of us who have followed the UFO mystery for so long, is nothing new, and it's starting to come into sharp focus for the wider population of the planet, as these agencies clumsily chase documents and the subsequent news articles are released on their rather Keystone Cops-like activities. As frustrating as this all is, it's oddly entertaining. This disclosure effort is showing us in near real time the powers that be may only just be hanging on to their collective arses. We may have them on the run. And the only way disclosure doesn't happen now is if the shadow government starts bumping off more people in order to send messages that this and related subjects are verboten. But that risks clear exposure. With recent reports on missing and dead individuals who have links, tenuous or otherwise, to the UFO subject, these shadowy agencies have painted themselves into a corner. The only question that remains now is how far will they go? One thing is for sure. They'll do as they must. They will continue to spoil the disclosure game. They will hide, misplace, steal, and lie. But we have the measure of them in that department. And not only that, we're gaining on them. Soon we'll head them off at the pass, steer them where we want, and spring the subpoena traps. As soon as one of their number faces real-world consequences, their potential ruin for just doing their job, the balance will start to shift. And on the side of disclosure, we can add that arrow to our already considerable quiver. Finally, while this tug of war maintains an air of politically underhanded respectability, all we have to do is wait for official disclosure to come to us via official channels. Slowly, embarrassingly, one dirty trick after another. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like, subscribe, and share. It really would help the channel. And until next time, bye-bye.